For my project, I decided I wanted to do more of a through the looking glass, looking at how different people view disabilities. I did two separate study groups, one of postgrad and one of undergrad. Throughout both sections, you'll be able to see the differences between the medical, psychoanalytical, and the elementary answer. I really wanted to do this project because at the beginning of class, first day, Karin asked us to write our own definition of disability, and throughout this class, mine has changed. Um, so I wanted to see where other people were with understanding what disabilities were, and just, you know, get a different background perspective on how they work. This is what I found.
When I think about what a disability is, from my personal experiences as a psychology major, I automatically think mental disorder or something along the lines of the emotional aspects, the mental aspects, but there are also the physical aspects. In high school and even in college, I've experienced people and have met many people who have had physical or mental, maybe not mental, but emotional at least disorder. Um, I know that in high school there was one boy who had a physical disorder, and everyone was always really nice to him and helped him do what he needed. And he was actually a lot better than a lot of the people in my grade at many things. So I think that there are some negative stigmas that come with disabilities. I think that the people with these disabilities often rise above them and become greater people and more talented than a lot of the people who don't have disabilities. And then in my collegiate career, I think that my exposure to learning about mental disabilities and emotional disorders has taught me that a disorder is something that uh, has to be treated almost, and there are many ways that I have learned that you can deal with them, and um, I think that it's something we can all learn a lot from disorders and disabilities to make ourselves better people.
Disability is the deficiency of an individual to perform to the standards set by society. This doesn't mean that an individual is worth less than your average human. It just means that they're not as equipped as the others to perform to what society expects of people.
Disability is a physical or mental inability to perform certain tasks that might prohibit them from doing normal things.
Someone who's disabled is someone who, I would say, physically or mentally can't do everything an able-bodied person would do. They're somehow limited. It's not their fault, but it's either by something that happened to them or the way they were born, but they're unable to do everything an able-bodied person would be able to do.
To me, disability is when somebody has mental disability or physical disability that keeps them from being able to do the things that we take for granted every day.
My understanding of disability is fairly limited because I've never worked with people that were disabled. But to me, being disabled means that in some way you're impaired, either mentally or physically, maybe because of an accident or an injury or an illness. Some people are born having suffered injury of one kind or another to their brain or to their body. And I know that their lives are difficult, but in many cases they have an enormous spirit that just helps them overcome that disability and be wonderful, productive people in spite of it.
To me, a disability is a physical or mental impairment that may limit one or more of a person's major life activities, like maybe speaking or caring for themselves, even breathing, or simple things like learning. But I also think language is very critical in shaping and reflecting our thoughts and beliefs feelings and concepts. And I think we have to be really careful when talking about disabilities, because some words by their very nature are degrading and diminish people with a disability. In other words, I think we oftentimes compare those with disabilities to normal people.